In today's video, we'll be looking at people who are, quite frankly, lucky to be alive today. Nature is unpredictable and full of surprises. It may show its mysterious and majestic side one moment, then things can quickly turn terrifying. There are wild creatures who will charge at people when threatened. Still, people continue to risk life and limb just to get up close and personal. We hope these clips will persuade you to do otherwise. Have you had your own scary animal encounter? Tell us about it in the comments below. Number 10. Black bear chases cyclists down mountain trail. 3 cyclists from Vancouver, British Columbia experienced the ride of their lives after they were forced to outrun a black bear for more than a kilometer. Brad Martin went up to Mount Seymour with 2 friends to ride trails and shoot it first person on his GoPro. The trio decided on the TNT trail, which none of them have ever ridden before. As they took a break in the clearing by the roadside, Martin and friends turned to see a black bear around 150 meters up the road they were standing on. Within seconds, the bear had traveled half the distance, quickly closing in on the bikers. What followed was heavy pedaling, as the cyclists did their best to outpace the bear. After biking more than a kilometer down the trail, the group stopped. Martin looked around for signs of their pursuer. The second he turned to his friends, the bear suddenly pops out of the corner, closer than it ever was during the chase. Sensing that it was going to be fruitless to run, Martin and his friends held their bikes over their heads in a desperate tactic to appear larger. They also began yelling and throwing objects at the bear, prompting it to finally back off. Thankfully, the 3 cyclists and the bear were all unharmed as a result of this downright frightening encounter. Number 9. Kayakers caught in a pod of orcas. When these kayakers set out, they had no idea they would find themselves stuck in the middle of 100 whales. It was just a matter of luck that the 2 would see the orcas passing them through open water. They stopped paddling and brought their kayaks as close as possible to the rocks. This way, they could watch the sea mammals play and travel through the bay. It was still a scary moment, as the 2 probably just looked like pieces of sea debris, but they stayed despite the danger, continuing to watch these majestic creatures. A few whales within the pod were trying to jump, with one of them breaching entirely out of water. Truly a sight to behold, but also very scary, because they could have easily been pulled in and injured by a stray frolicking pack. They were largely unnoticed, except for 3 young ones swimming under their tiny boats, and 1 orca mother that had her calf with her. They all then left to rejoin the pod, seemingly determined that the humans were harmless. After watching this anxiety-inducing clip, we think we'll stick to water theme parks. Number 8. Stuck alligator. A fisherman and his daughter were kayaking at Lake Foss Point in Louisiana, hoping to catch some fish to take home. What they didn't expect was an alligator practically staring them in the eye. Lance Burgos was bringing up his fishing line expecting a large garfish. Instead, he was greeted by a large, scaly face with an open jaw filled with razor-sharp teeth. In his panic, he threw away the line and began paddling away. The daughter can be heard shrieking as they sped through the water. Luckily, it seemed that the alligator was not hungry or interested. It did not give chase, allowing the 2 almost prey to easily escape. Still, a close call. Number 7. Raccoon home invaders. A homeowner in the suburbs has had its porch terrorized by an aggressive adult raccoon. One afternoon, the pesky mammal got itself trapped in one of the outdoor trash bins. The owner jumped at the chance to scare away the raccoon with a plastic broom. It shows an insanely aggressive side, jumping at the owner. After narrowly escaping another broom swing, it turns doubly aggressive and begins sprinting towards its attacker. This is a reminder that no matter how cute some wild animals may look, they are most likely not docile towards humans and must be treated with utmost respect. Number 6. Shark versus fisherman. Philip Brown of Queensland, Australia was spearfishing in shallow water just a few hundred meters from Yarrabah Beach in Queensland, Australia. A shark then appeared out of nowhere and attacked him. As he came face to face with the animal, he had no choice but to paddle away as fast as he could. Thinking he was safe, the shark attacked him from behind and bit on his leg. His last attempt to save himself was to hit the creature with the spear gun, managing to stab at the shark's head. This seemed to merely infuriate the shark, and it continued to circle Philip, who was now losing blood. 2 friends run into the water and finally chase away the aggressive sea predator. Philip is treated for his injuries and stated in an interview that he won't be diving in the open sea anytime soon. Number 5. Tigers chasing bikers. Not everyone who experiences an animal encounter seeks it out in the first place. Such is the case with these bikers, who decided to ride through what looks like a normal road, but was surrounded by a lush green forest. One of the bikers spots a tiger fast approaching them from the jungle. The two have no choice but to speed up, and this proves to be a good call as the wildcat suddenly swerves diagonally onto the road. It comes within inches of the bike and sprints back into the trees on the other side of the road after narrowly missing its target. It was a fortunate thing the bikers reacted as fast as they did. Half a second slower could have been the difference between life and death. Number 4. Fishing gone wild. Kyle Nageli, better known on YouTube as the Fish Whisperer, he and a friend began their fishing trip by hunting for flathead catfish, which were known to surface after heavy rains. Less than an hour in, they had already caught a few good fish, but 15 minutes later, something seemingly bigger was tugging at the line. The 19-year-old had caught a 7-foot-long alligator. It held on to the line for a few minutes, at one point getting closer to one of their action cameras at the bank. Just as they were about to cut the line, the gator simply broke free and swam away. It had seemed to be toying with them to get down to the bank all this time. Kyle has been fishing since he was 2 years old. This was actually his second accidental alligator catch, but says that the first one was just 3 feet long and not as strong. No wonder this guy was able to keep his cool during that encounter. Number 3. Surviving a silverback gorilla encounter. A tour group found themselves in an incredibly harrowing situation in a Rwandan jungle when they came face to face with a silverback gorilla. Gorilla safaris are popular with deep-pocketed adventurers who want to experience the wild side of the East African jungles up close. Travelers are advised to follow the rules and guidelines to minimize their impact on the gorilla's natural habitat. Once they spot a family of gorillas, they are taught to observe and appreciate from a safe distance of at least 7 meters. In the video, the guides calmly remind the tour group to turn off their flash photography and avoid looking the gorilla in the eyes. The ape surveys the trespassers and lets out a few low grunts. Seemingly deciding that these humans are no threat, the silverback leaves. After the animal is out of sight, the group is finally able to leave. That must have been the longest 3 minutes of their lives. Number 2. The charging elephant. Seasoned wildlife guide Alan McSmith has had over 30 years of experience. A major part of his work is in elephant conservation, which essentially means that he knows these giant beasts really well. Despite never deliberately provoking these wild animals, these guides are trained to deal with less than ideal scenarios before them, which is why he knew what to do when he and his tour group were faced with a bluff-charging adult male elephant. The elephant expert stands in the way of the animal with his hands outstretched. This show of authority and respect seems to be understood by the bull, and it turns away right after stopping its charge. Number 1. Death of a giant squid. James Taylor and his wife Christina were paddleboarding in the sea off the coast of Melkbosstrand, South Africa. The two noticed something in the distance and tentatively edged closer to it. They feared it was a shark, which would sometimes make their way close to the shore, but they were amazed to find what looked to be a giant squid. It was monstrously massive and began to wrap one of its huge tentacles around his paddleboard. Fortunately for the couple, the squid was not attempting to attack, but was seeking help. It looked gravely injured, with what looked like bite marks from aggressive seals. The mollusk was barely able to keep itself afloat, and without the board to hold onto, would have sank below the depths of the sea. James decided to bring the squid to shore, making a contraption to easily haul it. He made the call to end its life quickly, and did his best to make arrangements to donate the specimen to museums. Such a sad ending for this majestic sea creature. Did these stories of animal encounters have you at the edge of your seats? Have you had your own scary experiences? Let us know in the comments. And once again, thank you very much for watching.